prepare with personal care here on The Source. Of course you do.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Most of you who listen regularly know that Rob and I speak to authors all the time. The authors call in from everywhere on the planet. It can be in Australia. We've had them in Korea. We've had them in Japan. We've had them in London. Of course, we've had our share of authors here in America, too, including some here in Florida. Once in a while, there's an author even here in Ocala, and we have an author right now in the studio. Now, just so you know, a lot of people know that we do interviews with authors, and so we have a lot of people say, oh, my brother-in-law wrote a book, or, I got a friend who wrote a book, and I always like, oh, gosh, I'm always so reluctant because we really depend on publicists who've kind of done half our job for us by screening authors and making sure that we have like some, the cream of the crop that come our way. So when somebody has a friend or a brother-in-law or whatever who's written a book, we're always, hopefully we're cordial. But we also have to be real and say, not right now or whatever. So Jim George, who you all know as Professor Gadget on Friday.
Yes.
He told us about Michael Cooper, and Michael is an attorney. I think he's Jim's. Are you Jim's attorney? Sort of, kind of, yes?
Yes.
Anyway, so Jim was telling us about Michael, and anyway, Michael's an attorney, and he wrote a book called The Prayer Man. And so when I first was looking at the book, I was instantly relating to the thoughts, because the depth at which you write, Michael, I could relate to, especially, we have thoughts about God all the time. We have thoughts about our relationship with the universe, etc. So I love what you have written in The Prayer Man. In addition to being an attorney, it says here you also are a mountain biker.
I do. I mountain bike, road bike,
You
mountain
look
bike
like
all
you're
over the world.
in good shape. A weightlifter.
All over the world.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
You play harmonica.
I try.
There are two types of harmonica players. There's Stevie Wonder, and there's the rest of us.
Actually, there's three. I'm below the rest of us.
Oh, no. You can't be. You can't be worse than Bob Dylan. You can't be worse than Springsteen. And you can't be worse than me. Anyway, you're a children's author as well as a novelist. You're a University of Florida alumni, and what a nice first meeting with you. Thank you for coming in. Michael Cooper, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you both very much.
So you're an attorney. What kind of law do you practice? Is that a good question? I don't even know.
I practice primarily commercial litigation, real estate law, estates and trusts.
Okay, so you stay out of the bad guys. You don't have like criminals that you have to represent.
I try to stay away from as many criminals as possible.
Because Rob and I utilize attorneys too for intellectual property when we write something or whatever. So, and the lady we use is out of Miami. So.
Right.
So
that's an extremely specialized area.
And I'm so glad that I don't know how you lawyers do it. I don't know how you do it. The lawyer my mom had for her estate was also the same way. He didn't have to represent bad guys. That's my way of saying people who've broken the law. All right, so let me talk to you about the book, and then we'll kind of go all over the map. The book held me from point one. I loved what you've written in the book.
Well, thank you.
The story I haven't gotten through completely yet. Have you?
Yes.
So Robin is so fast.
Well,
But anyway, I am just loving what I'm reading. I don't want to give away too much. I'm going to let you give away as much as you think we should give away. But I just think that your thoughts, your character is you. I'm guessing he thinks the way you think, right?
Yes.
Remind me of his name again?
Al Watson.
Al Watson, right. So he reflects your thoughts a lot?
I'm going to give you hopefully not too long an answer on this. I wanted to write a book about something big and what can be bigger than religion and spirituality. And so I thought of the concept of putting someone into a strange situation and seeing how they would react. And the situation in this book is that Al Watson discovers his prayers are being answered. And how would he react once he just makes that discovery? What would he do? What would his thought process be? And in that sense, yes, it is me. It's what I would want to do, or at least what I would hope I would want to do, if something like that happened to me.
But has it happened to you?
No.
Any different than the rest of us? I mean, I guess we could all say some prayers are answered, some aren't.
You know, if you pray often enough and believe hard enough, yes, the ones that God chooses to make come true will come true.
Do you think there's an element of wisdom involved here? In other words, if you're praying for a new Mercedes and you don't get it and you say there is no God because there's no Mercedes, it's kind of foolish. But if you pray for a Mercedes and somehow you end up with an old 1960 Ford, at least you're getting around, right?
Yes. The premise of the book, and one of the premises of the book, is that God is inscrutable. He's not understandable. He answers prayers based upon, and when I say he,
you don't have to apologize for calling God he. You are an attorney, aren't you?
I'm all for it. I'm for he.
God is an amorphous entity. He is all and nothing, and as it says in the book. And so we go into that. But when if he answers prayers, if he chooses to answer prayers, it's not up to us to question why or when or how. That's not our purpose in life. We accept his decisions, and those are his decisions.
But Al has this worthiness feeling about him, though. I mean, he doesn't come out like gangbusters and say, I'm worthy of this gift that I've been given. He really asks that question in his own mind. Why?
Why? He wants to know why. And I think anybody who has any sensitivity would be, what have I brought to the table that's different than anyone else? Why am I being chosen? Why am I being picked out? There's so many other people out there that are more worthy than me, that would have more insight, more knowledge. And I think that's how I would react, at least, and that's how I've had Al react.
In your in writing of the book, did you consciously decide to have the flavor that the book has, as opposed to, remember the old movie by John Denver was in a movie called Oh God with George Burns?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So that was kind of a, why me kind of a story also. Why was he the guy that God came to talk to? But it was funny. It's a very thoughtful book, The Prayer Man.
When I started writing, this is the second novel I wrote. The first novel was perhaps spiritual in a sense. It was called The Temple. The Temple was based basically on a dream. After I got done writing The Temple, I had enjoyed it so much. I was sitting with my wife, and I was thinking, I asked her, Patty, what do I do now? I finished this book. I want to write another book. I want something big. And so I came up with a concept, what if an average person gets their prayers answered? For most of my adult life, I've not particularly been what you would call a spiritual or religious person. But somehow it's been churning away in the back of my mind, and I didn't even know it, because when I started to write this book, all of a sudden I became aware of a desire to learn, to know, to find out about spirituality, and in all different senses, and whether it's Christian or Hindu or Muslim or Buddhist or Taoism, it doesn't matter. I wanted to explore that.
I love that.
And that's what I had Al do. Just go across the field, even into philosophers, and try to come up with some sort of, what was the question?
I don't remember. But you know what you reminded me of? Actually, what you're saying right now, I thought of as I was looking through the book. And what it reminded me of was not Jonathan Livingston Seagull or the author, what was his name, Richard Bach?
Yes.
Was his name? Not that necessarily, but when they made that book into a movie, they asked Neil Diamond, the songwriter, to create some music for it.
Right.
And Neil Diamond got into this whole, I want to know more about all of the religions. So I kind of thought about you in the Neil Diamond aspect. Are you familiar with that stuff I'm talking about?
Yes, and I tell you what, you can compare me to Neil Diamond, except that for one major difference.
He can't play harmonica?
He can't play harmonica. and I have a voice for newspaper.
But in a sense, though, you are spiritual, even though you didn't realize it early on, because in the bio that you wrote on your website, you give accolades to your wife, you give accolades to family. You want to make sure that everybody is recognized for what they do. And that in itself says that you were a spiritual person even before you realized it.
I think I was, and of course, family is very important. My wife Patty and my children Stacy and Jordan, and of course my grandchildren Riley and Paige. I'm going to get them all in there. But yes, I think there was a lot of that was there, and there probably is a lot of that in all of us, even though some of us choose not to acknowledge it, or I don't know if it's denial or just an inability to cope, because there are so many unanswered and unanswerable questions out there that sometimes it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're a deep guy. That's the hint that you've been spiritual all along, but you never called it that, is that you are a deep thinker. I think when we want to know the answers to the universe, the big questions that religion tries to answer, we often refrain from associating ourselves with the religious aspect of that because of, some of the guys on TV who simply want your money, and they've misrepresented what the Bible is supposed to be about, or what any religious text is supposed to be about. They've misrepresented it as a way to make money for themselves. And so we don't want to associate ourselves with that.
And in the book, my character Al, he faces that reality quite often, and he does have to deal with it. To me, I differentiate between religion and spirituality. Religion, to me, in my usage of the term, is associated with a specific dogma, a specific belief. Spirituality is more universe, more general. It's more of a questioning and looking anywhere for the answers. And that's why I have to say I consider myself spiritual as opposed to religious.
Do you know what a meme is? M-E-M-E. Do you know what that is?
I've heard it generally, yes.
It's a photograph that is used on Facebook where somebody puts some text on the photograph. And there was a photograph I saw just this morning, believe it or not, of a man standing in a fishing boat with the sun setting, and he's fishing. And the meme, the words said, religion is a man sitting in church thinking about fishing. Spirituality is a man standing in a fishing boat thinking about God.
I love that.
I like that. That's good.
That is a good one. All right, we need to take a little break. This time goes by too fast when we have a good guest. Michael Cooper is our good guest right now. His book is called The Prayer Man, and we will kind of recap what the story is about in the book, because we're kind of all over the map with you, because you're an interesting guy. So we'll take a little break. And Michael is here in Ocala. He's an attorney. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, a warm day with sunshine and some building clouds. There can be an afternoon thunderstorm in spots. High 82 at the coast, 87 inland. And partly cloudy tonight, those 63 to 67. Mostly sunny and pleasantly warm tomorrow. High 83 at the coast, 89 inland. For Friday, partly sunny and warm. Watch out for a thunderstorm in the afternoon. The high 85 to 89. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will ever make. Be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. when Bob Kennedy, owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing real estate. So remember, that's Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty and your friends here at WOCA.
All right, thank you. 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Beautiful Wednesday morning. And there's a book out there. I'm going to find out how you can get a copy of it. It's called The Prayer Man. Robin has finished it. I haven't, but I'm into it. And when I get into a book, it means I will finish it. That's the way it is. There are so many books that we have to look at. I'm always amazed that you can finish them all, Robin. You must
finish all of them.
Evelyn Wood speed reading champion over here. Michael Cooper is an attorney, a mountain biker, a weightlifter, and you play harmonica as well as write books. And you say you dedicate 2 hours a day to your writing?
What I do is I get up, I'm a early riser, early to bed, early to rise. I'm a Ben Franklin guy, so I'm in bed usually by 9 o'clock. And then I get up at about 5, get myself some coffee and sit down in my study and write. And I write from about 5:30 till 7, virtually 6 days, probably 6-7 days a week.
How long have you been doing that?
Probably 12 years now.
12 years, wow.
I've wanted to write a book since I was a teenager, and for everybody, a lot of people want to write, not everybody, but a lot of people do want to write books. They feel they have something in them, but time gets in the way, chores and family and jobs and everything else gets in the way. And then it's like, how do I start? Where do I go? What do I do? And that took me 35 years to finally come to terms with. You start by sitting down and starting.
To manage your time so you could do it, right?
You have to manage your time, and you also have to generate inertia. You have to generate forward progress so that every day you're looking forward to being there, being in front of, whether you write by the computer like I do, or whether you write by hand. You have to dedicate yourself to that particular discipline.
Sometimes people choose topics where they're on the edge, and this is a topic that you have chosen that you were very courageous to choose, because there are a lot of clergy out there who might come to you and say, what qualifies you to write about a subject like this? And that's kind of scary.
It is. What qualifies me is nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
That's a good answer.
I believe in God, and I guess that is probably my best qualification. I'm also very inquisitive. I'm very open-minded, and I really want to find whatever answers can be found.
That's a good trait to have.
And I'm not a biblical scholar in any way, but when I was the premise of the book, that he has all of his prayers answered, was something that made me think of Jesus. And again, I'm not somebody who knows the Bible better than me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that when he's in the Garden of Gethsemane, what did I say it? Gethsemane. He says, if this cup can be passed before me. So in other words, if I don't have to be crucified, I wouldn't mind if you took this away from me. So he was kind of praying to God, if you could stop this whole crucifixion thing, I wouldn't be unhappy. It's almost like he's praying that it doesn't happen, but he knows in his heart it's going to happen, I guess. I mean, that's what it seems like to me in that story.
But the problem is he is God. So he's essentially praying to himself in some capacity. And his fate as God is, I don't want to say predestined, but that's almost what it is. And so
seems like it, yeah.
So he is going to suffer that loss no matter what. And again, I'm not a biblical scholar by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, not even close. I refer to the Bible in writing books. I read the Bible because I think it's a beautiful parts of it. Some of it more than others it's just beautiful writing. It's great poetry.
And you've written this in the first person, which is very interesting.
Which makes us, again, think that you are the character.
I write a lot of my books in the first person. I like it because it does put me in the mix, and I really enjoy that. But I have written several books in the third person as well. And my books, every book, no matter what, is a projection of the author. The author has to put a piece of himself into that book. Right. Making it in the first person makes it a little more obvious, but it also makes it a little simpler to keep the flow going.
We had an author the other day who had a book in first person, and the publisher told him to change it to third person, did all the work, which must have taken forever, and then didn't like it and turned it back to the first person. And it's a successful book. I can't remember what it was. You have a caller, Michael. Thank you for calling in, for waiting. You're on the air with Michael Cooper.
Good morning, Michael. I was just wondering, with all the archaeological discoveries made in the Middle East and in the regions that more or less were the beginnings of Christianity and everything, has that ever, the fact that we discovered a lot of these things that are actually in the Bible, and you always figured, well, that's like almost like a story, but here they are being proved, physically being proved, a lot of the different happenings and where they took place and whatever. And I'm wondering how that affects you, and I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you for that question.
Got loud when you got close to the mic, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And when I turned up my earphones. The Bible has to be looked at not only as the Word of God or a religious text, it's also a historical text. And as a historical text, it is based, if you read particularly a number of the books in there towards the end of the Old Testament, it is a series of events that really did take place. So when they discover these sites, these archaeological sites, what it does is it lends support to the historic aspect of the Bible. The spiritual aspect of the Bible is still going to have to derive from our individual souls and our individual hearts as to what we listen to, what we take away from it, and what we choose to make of it. But the fact that these historical events actually took place does create a great context to allow us to grow in terms of our understanding of the book. Your book is like the cream of what do you call the cream? Not of the crop, but cream rises to the top. I think your book will rise. I think you will see. How long has the book been out? Actually, when I first came out, it was called Answered Prayers. And then I found out that Truman Capote wrote a book called Answered Prayers.
Oh,
okay.
And I decided that I better change the title. And nobody had written a book called The Prayer Man, so I went with The Prayer Man.
So,
but it's been out it's actually been on Amazon for, 7 years, 6-7 years, something like that.
So I didn't prepare you for this question, but see, and I'm not trying to throw you a curve, but could you give us a movie trailer version of the story so that I'm trying to help you sell the book. In other words, it's called The Prayer Man. Just give us like a movie trailer version of that.
All right, a movie trailer version. Al Watson is an insurance salesman in Orlando. Average guy, late 20s, has a girlfriend named Cindy. He is not spiritual in any sense of the imagination. But one day something happens and he prays. Then a while later something else happens and he prays. He prays, for example, because he wants to make his girlfriend feel better when her dog is injured, or he prays because he wants someone to feel better when they've suffered a loss. And then he starts noticing a pattern. He starts noticing that when he prays, the prayers come true. And he starts experimenting, and he discovers he does have this gift. And the book is a dual journey. First, he is outed. He is discovered. It's a person gets jealous of his ability and calls magazine. And then it gets printed in the newspaper, and next thing you know, people are wanting a piece of him. So he has to run from the physical aspect of people desiring to have the benefit of his gift. The second part of the journey is the spiritual part, where he's trying to find why he was chosen and what God's intention is. So the book is a combination of those two as he travels and runs and hides, and also tries to discover what caused this to happen.
You could pray for them to stop chasing them. that would end it, right? I have a copy of The Prayer Man. Am I allowed to give this one away?
If you'd like.
Okay. Call me if you want the copy that was given to us. You can have the copy I have. The rest of us have to go buy it. How do we buy the book?
The book is on Amazon. If you go on Amazon, The Prayer Man by Michael J. Cooper. And right now you have to put in both The Prayer Man and my name to get it. And it is on Amazon for sale.
Okay, excellent.
And I'm trying to, I need to get it on Kindle.
Oh, okay, that was going to be my next question.
I haven't, because there's certain steps you have to go through, and I've gone through like 2 out of the 3 steps.
Michael, thank you for coming in here today. I knew this was going to go fast, and I just am enjoying the book. Robin obviously loved it. And
very impactful.
Good luck. Come back. Don't be a stranger. You have another book in you, I'm sure.
I've written 5 novels, a book of poems and poetry, and a children's book.
The door is always open. Just call Robin, and she'll have you on the air. Thank you, Michael. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. An official at the Pentagon confirms to Fox News that 1 U.S. soldier is dead, 2 wounded in a shooting by an Afghan soldier in Afghanistan. This was caught on video.